Ramsey. I'm so thrilled today to welcome Andy Smith to this blog. Andy is the co-author of a fabulous new book called The Dragonfly Effect. Andy, this is the part in the Q&A where normally I hold up the book, but thanks to technology and Kindle, I can't hold up anything this time.
Oh, well, I can hold up the book.
Please hold up the book, by all means.
Like
hold it up.
I'll go into the book.
That's
For just such an occasion.
This is called preparation. The book is called, and I'm going to vamp. The book is called The Dragonfly Effect. Andy's going to hold it up, and it is it's a terrific book. There it is. Look at that. It's a real book, guys. The theme of the book, Andy, is about using social media to drive social change. And before you walk me through the wings of the dragonfly, I do want to talk about that. But before you walk me through that, it seems to me that using social media to drive social change could be expanded as a goal for business to using social media to drive impact, period. Would you agree with that? And if so, you know, how could my audience of broadcasters, radio stations, etc., what are some ideas on how they might be able to do that?
Well, absolutely. And I'm actually, one of the reasons I was so excited to do this was because you brought that into the discussion before we met. And that's exactly the way we see it. In fact, a lot of the companies that we profile in the Dragonfly Effect are bridging this gap between something you would consider to be more CSR-like versus just creating an excellent product and doing things that make sense for their business. One example that comes to mind is the way Starbucks extended the way they thought of themselves as an employer, as a company, to embrace the concept of fair trade grown beans being their sole source for coffee beans, because they extended the definition of how the people that were involved in making the product were defined. It wasn't just the people in the stores, it wasn't just the people in management, it was the people that actually created the product. And by that same token, the idea that someone can take impact and think about how are they making a difference, how are they making a great product, how are they connecting with customers. It's all about sort of the quality of doing that. It's all about the meaning behind it. It's the why do you do what you do? Why do you get up and go to work each day? It's probably not for the paycheck. It's for something else, something deeper that motivates you. And we encourage businesses, nonprofits, individuals, anyone, whether they're trying to save someone's life or simply, you know, be really proud of what they do, to find that meaning. And that's what you can use to motivate other people through basically the power of storytelling in order to get that done. And that's the impact that you speak of.
The book is built on the metaphor of the dragonfly with 4 wings. And the strategy that you outline in the book likewise has 4 wings. Can you walk through what those are and the significance of them?
Sure. So it's sort of a way of pulling things together. And so the metaphor of the dragonfly is a symbol of change and rebirth. And also, you know, relates to the fact that the dragonfly, as far as we know, is the only insect or animal that can fly or move in any direction backwards or even hover when all 4 wings are being in concert. And we came across the idea of doing this and building the metaphor for 2 reasons. One is that there's the sometimes called the dragonfly effect, sometimes called the butterfly effect, the idea that small acts can create big change, that a butterfly flapping its wings can affect the weather on the other side of the world. Conceptually, it happens, and we saw it happen in the social way in a number of things we profiled. But as far as the things that succeeded versus that failed, it often related to how well these 4 elements were aligned and if they were all present. So the first wing of the dragonfly is one that relates to goal focus. We call it focus itself, and it really relates to developing a clear and simple and motivating goal that everyone can get around and figure out, you know, what it is we're trying to achieve. The core story of the Dragonfly Effect related to a set of people who wanted to find a bone marrow match for an individual. And so their single focus goal was around saving his life, and specifically around getting a certain number of bone marrow donors into the pool in a certain period of time. And so it was really clear and focused. And when they look back on it, they realized how powerful having that and having metrics that allowed them to know whether they're making progress or not worked. And then the final element of that goal focus is around that goal should be something that is, say, things that sometimes we might aim towards. Like next quarter we should make, you know, we want to have that be our first $1 billion quarter. Well, how motivating is that? It's a good measurable goal, but does that give you happiness? So that final test there is like, does the idea of achieving that goal just, you know, pump you up and make you think, if we did that, that would be, you know, remarkable?
Doesn't matter to me, the consumer, the person.
Doesn't matter to, yeah, it doesn't matter to you. And I think that's the other thing is like, it's really multifaceted. It should matter to the person who is, creating the program. If we achieve this, does it matter? Does it matter to the person you're approaching? Does it matter to everybody who would help contribute to its success? And that's a really important element to it. But once you've gotten that goal and you've focused and you've figured out how to get there, the next thing you need to do is grab someone's attention. And that's, the classic sort of advertising or any sort of communication thing is that it's like someone's paying attention to something else. It's a busy, over-messaged world. How do you do that? And we encourage people to focus on messages that are simple and visceral and visual generally, and match the media in which they're communicated. It's really sort of marketing 101 at that point, but it is about recognizing where people are coming from and figuring out how to reach them there, speaking to them as the people they are, as the situation they're in at the time, rather than coming from where your company is or where your product is at the time. Then after you've got someone's attention, what you need to do is you need to engage them. And so this really comes through storytelling. So because it's very easy, if you see those irritating banner ads on the low rent sites, they grab your attention, but do they ever get you to do anything? Converting attention into caring or engagement is the key here. And so getting together a clear, truthful, authentic story that motivates people to act. And again, focuses on this thing where, who are you? Where are you coming from? What do you believe in? When it was the case of the gentleman trying to find a match for their friends, it was, are you a recent, emigrant to this country? Do you come from, the Indian subcontinent? Are you a parent? And approaching people that way and telling them the story that had, full on, protagonist, struggle, conflict, and opportunity for resolution, getting that clearly out there. Every company, every effort has that story. Again, so going back to, what's the reason you go to work every day? It probably isn't just to, wait for the day to pass. It's to get something done, and there's a story to that. So engage is one of the critical elements there. But at that point, we're pretty much through 3/4 of the way through, or all the way through, what we'd consider to be a marketing campaign. Every marketing campaign has a plan, everyone has a way to get attention, and everyone has the story they want to tell if they're well designed. The fourth element is the critical element for doing this in the social space, and we refer to it as engage, as take action or enable action. And the idea is that your audience, the people that go through that stage and want to do more than just click to buy or volunteer or participate in some way, they want to join your campaign. They want to become part of the action. And you're missing a huge opportunity if you don't effectively redeploy all the tools that you've already used to get them through those 3 steps and put it in their hands so they can take it up. The most stunning example from we wrote about in this case that we saw was Obama 2008 campaign, where they did effectively sort of the Tom Sawyer painting the fence thing, where they actually used the opportunity to do more work as an enticement to do more work. It was a really interesting combination, but they put all these things in people's hands, and they did masterful work in terms of integrating the social world. Of course, they had a couple of people who were responsible for the early days of Facebook to get that done. So those things all together. So focus is getting the right goal and figuring out progress towards it. Grabbing attention, making sure that you speak to people in a way that gets them off of gets them off their TV or whatever. Engage, telling the story that makes them care, that makes them want to actually do something once you've gotten that, and then enable action, making them want to and have it be possible for them to take up your effort as if it were their own and go forward and be part of your army.
That's a great summation. Focus, grab attention, engage, and take action. Now, let's suppose that you were sitting in front of a broadcaster, a station manager, a program director, whatever, and they said, Andy, where do we begin? I mean, we understand the 4 wings. We want to go through this. I mean, where do we start?
Well, I think I'd start with that very question we were talking about before. Is it why do you and the best people that work here come to work every day? What do you believe in? What is it that makes this the place you work, this the thing you do, and get into that. and figure it out, because you're going to find sort of where your compass is. You're going to find that maybe you're not doing all of the things you want to do, but there's a good reason that you keep slogging it out, because it's a hard industry, and people do it because they love it, because they care about something. I would say start with that. The area that we find that people really could have the opportunity to spend the most time in is in focus. We don't encourage people to stay at the planning stage forever, because going out and sort of as sort of the startup allure goes, like getting outside the building and figuring out what people really want is absolutely critical, but not just executing business as usual, not just doing something because okay, here's our goal. It needs to be thought of deeply, because usually where people lose it is that they don't feel that their goal is worthy of the kind of commitment. These things are sort of love and passion projects. When you do them right, you stay up all night to make them happen. So I would say first thing is gather the people that are your best people inside and outside, and figure out why they're involved. Why do they care, and and who and what are the problems they seek to solve. Mm-hmm. And there, the rest actually kind of falls into place. Everything from there is execution. One of the groups we profiled just said that the thing is just really to fail as fast as you can, and in many ways you can, and do more of the stuff that works and do less of the stuff that doesn't, and not worry about it. Always do that sort of like beg forgiveness rather than asking permission, and take the chance that you can actually succeed in a way that will surprise you, and will do so and feel that much better because you did it with many fewer resources than you should have had to do it in the first place.
Andy Smith is the co-author with Jennifer Aker of a terrific new book called The Dragonfly Effect, which Andy is about to hold up right now. Here it comes.
I'll do English again.
Yeah, let's do English. And there it is, The Dragonfly Effect. Andy, for more information, what's the website?
Website is dragonflyeffect.com. And so it's all one word. And it should, even if you just Google Dragonfly Effect, we've managed to get that to the top of the list. So.
Well done. And there's the other thing I should say, there's lots of useful information at that site. You're really practicing what you preach with that site. So I recommend people check that out. Andy Smith, Dragonfly Effect, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, everybody.